Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Dorbin number 86P. This is a piece of double door astragal equipment, or double door equipment as they call it, with a pile. This is an astragal, is where you're going to use this. Could be perimeter gasketing as well, although it would be unusual to use it for that, but it could be, and it has been. Okay, so here's what this is. This is typically used in the edge of a wood door or wood doors in a pair of doors, but not only in a pair of doors, you could use them in single doors as well. But what the 86 is, it's this aluminum extrusion with this profile. The P is this pile that you see. The way that this works is you will route a channel into the edge of the door. This will get inserted into that channel, but what makes this item one of the more go-to items for me when someone says, I want something that's going to be durable and long-lasting, I will always go for something that will be mortised. And what makes this that go-to item for me, along with Dorbin's 97 series of material, is the fact that this can be adjusted over time. So this is very good in terms of a maintenance sort of aspect, meaning that you can, once routed, you will install it with the included screw and spring, and you'll get as many of these as based on the length. This happens to be a 24-inch piece that someone is using for a very specific sort of window application. And you'll remove the sill, the pile, forgive me. And another thing that makes this a nice item, a go-to item, is that you can buy just this only. Pile will fatigue over time. The ability to get new pile is crucial, and that you can do. So your screw will go in. Okay, that will get down in there like that. Then, as you could probably guess, that spring's going to go behind here. Then, obviously what happens, the more you tighten that screw, the more this is drawn in. The more you back it out, the more it's backed out. Now, this is a smart piece of weather stripping because of the ability for you to tailor the projection of the item. Doors do not stay plumb forever, that's for sure. Sills do not stay level forever. They might change throughout the season as well. So the ability to tailor that over time as the opening, the ability to get that tailored onto the door is what makes this a very elegant piece of weather stripping, and my go-to weather stripping when somebody says, I don't care what it takes, I just need it to work reliably and well. So this is available in several different lengths. It's going to include this aluminum extrusion that has got the hole on the front side where you slide the pile into, and then of course drilled through the back. It will include the screw and the spring. Okay. It will include, of course, the pile. Now, the question inevitably becomes, what do I mortise the door for, and how to go about doing that? And while there are countless videos online of tool manufacturers showing how to use their tools, I'll first give you some fairly accurate dimensions and then talk about mortising. So Dorbin has that at 3/8 of an inch. Now the caliper puts this at 0.373, so that's right on in terms of a width. Now the depth of the extrusion, 0.595, 0.595, so just heavy on 5/8. Then when you bring the pile into it, and they don't give you these dimensions exactly like this. So the important part of knowing this installation, of course, is going to always be, what's the width and the depth. So now the projection of this with the pile, and obviously we can't get incredibly accurate, but that's going to be 0.840. So 0.840. So that projection went from 0.59 to 0.840. So that means that the pile itself is going to be 25 thousandths, or quarter inch. Okay, quarter inch. Now, routing for this material, obviously, well, if it was me, I would certainly wait until I had the material in hand. I've mortised doors for many years, and you can always mortise something off of a template or off drawings. There's no question. I always like to do a test, put the piece in there, because what happens is that something might be 3/8, while the caliper says that it's 20 thousandths different. And while that's insignificant in a lot of cases, there are times when you just need to know exactly what it is. So if it was me, I would be using a plunge router. I would have bolted to my base an angle, an aluminum angle. I would put my door flat on the sawhorses, and I would just start at the one end, and I would have that fence or that aluminum angle set so that the center line of my bit was exactly where I wanted it in the edge of the door, which is typically the center line. I would come down with that, and I'd make a very small pass, not very deep, 1/8 of an inch. You'll have to do many passes and get that brought all the way down. Now their mortise is showing you to be 3/4 deep. So 3/4 deep plus the projection of the pile means that you're going to be, your pile will always be, if we were at 0.84 inch of the overall of that material, and they want you 3/4 deep, that means that your projection is going to be 90 thousandths. Okay, so right from there, you're going to be projecting out, even if it was buried all the way down, which it really wouldn't be. You couldn't compress those springs down to 0 naturally. You're going to be able to have a normal projection of this item that's going to accomplish 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch, or a pair of doors where they'll touch slightly. The crucial thing to know, because you can change that depth to accommodate how deep you're going to want that to be in. So if I was going to bring that to 0, I'm going to need to be some dimension, 0.84, plus the thickness of the spring that's going to be back behind there. And even if that is totally compressed, you're going to be still at, 5/16. So the way that it's drawn, you're going to be able to draw that out so that you've got this projecting out to cover 1/2 of an inch. And they're going to get that from basically a spring being installed. Hope you're following. They're saying 1/2 of an inch is the max amount of gap that you can close off. So if I've got 0.84 and then my uncompressed spring of 0.5, you're going to be able to close that off very well. You'll have a little bit of tension set on the spring, and so that it doesn't rattle around at all. So the bottom line is, if you're doing a new installation, if you're a woodworker, if you're a door manufacturer, if you're a carpenter, someone who wants to have something work, in my opinion, that will last a very long time, you'll want to look at something mortised. Pairs of doors to a church, all the time. That's a great application. Those doors will, over time, have no gap at the top and 1/4 inch gap at the bottom, 3/8 of an inch gap at the bottom. And while it's really, in my opinion, not recommended that you try to fix that problem by doing things directly to the door, like planing it down or padding it out or sanding it or whatever, not permanently changing the door itself, get weather stripping that you can help compensate for that. The only issue that you might run into, and again that's 3/8, is there might be an interrupt where you have hardware. If you've got lock sets on the door, you're going to have to consider that you're going to have an application by which you'll have to interrupt that prep. Okay, that's part of what's going on with a piece of hardware like this. But if you've got a pair of doors, church, same church application, service vertical rod exit devices, weather stripping like this is ideal. I've had people install this on all sides of the door, not really at the bottom of the door, because you can't easily get to it without unhanging the door, obviously. But that maintenance is just going to include you pulling or sliding that seal out, getting down to the screws, and adjusting. Okay. What you'll probably want to do is give a small amount of crimp down to one end, just so that your seal doesn't slide out. It is intended that you're going to crimp that to keep it from sliding out. The name Dorbin is synonymous with weather stripping. They are a Chicago area weather stripping manufacturer, and they have been in this business for several decades. I'm partial to Dorbin. It's because of a very long-lasting relationship. But, sentimentality aside, the facts are this. They have a very good inventory. They have industry-leading lead times. and they do what they do. They do that one item very well. You know, a very relatively comprehensive yet focused amount of weather stripping. I wouldn't hesitate to suggest Dorbin on your next project. And if you are curious to see more of their product line, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up their catalog. If you have any questions on the Dorbin number 86P, piece of weather stripping, only available in aluminum because it's intended to be always concealed, or any other Dorbin product, please feel free to reach out to us.